joined right now by the head football coach of the Shepherd University Rams, Monte Cater. Good evening to you, Coach.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Congratulations on last week, and obviously the excitement level has got to be percolating right now on campus and for everyone involved in the program.
I tell you, even though we've just finished finals, a lot of students going to hang around and anticipate, obviously, a great day weather-wise, but certainly a big crowd, and everybody's excited. I know we just finished the meeting with the NCAA and ESPN that's going to handle the game and stuff like that, but it's an exciting time.
Coach, was it difficult this week because you did have final exams on campus to get your regular practice in, or were you able to figure out a plan?
Well, we were able to adjust practice just a little bit. We're always concerned that our guys saying, hey, there's no way we're going to slide football this week, when they need to make sure that they're getting ready for finals. But it was adjustable. We were able to go ahead and get some things done a little earlier in the day, and I think it worked out pretty well.
Before we look ahead to Grand Valley State, last week's game, I tell you what, your team's got some moxie and some not quit in it. I was watching the first half of the game, and Slippery Rock defensively, their line was having its way with your offensive line. And, you guys kind of bowed up there and turned the entire complexion around on that. From what I understand, that's not atypical. That's kind of the way you guys play. You absolutely you refuse to battle regardless of what happens during the course of a first half.
Well, it's a young football team, but the kids are close. They battle. They don't want to let each other down. And the thing that concerns me a little bit is really both the IUP game and the Slippery Rock game. We've waited until the second half to play our best football, and you can't go ahead and give people a lot of momentum. Certainly you don't want to be chasing them, and with the task that we have tomorrow, we better not let that happen again.
When you watch this Grand Valley State team, what's the first thoughts that come to your mind when you break them down both offensively and defensively?
Well, they really attack you on defense. I think, they got a great defensive ends, one of the top players really in the country, certainly at our level, and he's got 20-some sacks, and they get a lot of turnovers, but a lot of it's because of pressure. They come after you, and they'll show you some different things in the secondary, but they do like to play some man-to-man. Offensively, even though they lost a real good tailback, they're deep there, and they're balanced enough that they're able to go ahead and keep you off balance by being able to run and pass. We hate that as a defense, love that as an offense if we can do that, so that people can't play you one-dimensionally. So, we've got to be ready to go and understand the challenge that's going to be there. But there's a reason they're here and a reason they've got the tradition that they do, and that's because they're good every year. And the idea is going to be great because we're going to have them here in Shepherdstown and an opportunity to go ahead and continue our season.
Coach, they got 45 sacks on the year, does Grand Valley State. So is protection of your quarterback the biggest key for you guys offensively?
Well, if you mentioned that's kind of, I started with their defensive line because they do really pressure, and they don't always have to bring linebackers. They do like to pressure, but, they get an awful lot of mileage out of the front. And, we gave up a lot of sacks last week. I'm sure they spend a lot of time with that film. But at the same time, we've done some things where I think we can shore up some of that protection, and we got to give Jeff some time. If he's got time, he's going to be fine, and he'll get it to some real good receivers that we have. But if he's scrambling around for his life, then, it's going to be tougher. But that's also a reason you got to be able to run the football a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have to tell you, but listeners may want to know. Matt, I guess it's Joden, 20 sacks on the season. Haven't seen that very often out of one guy.
I don't really want to see it tomorrow, but I think he's going to play. He is really good. He is so quick off the edge, and he's one reason. I don't think anyone else is close to that number of sacks on their team, but he presents some problems, and our guys understand you better know where he's at, and if you got a chip or you got to buy a little time with your tight end and stuff like that, then you have to do those things.
Health-wise, Coach, how do you go into this one?
Well, not bad. We're going to get James Gupton back, and he's probably as fierce a hitter as we have. And, we talked before, he's a first-team all-conference player that missed 3 games. He hasn't played, for us in a month, but he's had a great week of practice. The hamstrings come along, and we will get him back. Otherwise, we're about where we were. We didn't get Will Smith back. Everybody's got bumps and bruises and things like that right now, but I think we're going to be as close as we can get to being full strength tomorrow.
Talking with Monte Cater, the head football coach at Shepherd University, as they get set for Grand Valley State coming up tomorrow at high noon. Metro News will have the radio coverage of the game as well on the website at Metro News, wvmetronews.com. So you're into the Final Four here, Coach. You've been at this for a long, long time. You've learned through the years. You've seen teams that make it to this point. What are the absolute essentials to be successful when you get down to this very rarefied air?
Well, I think it's all the cliches people talk about that you should never use. But, we've got to be smart. You can't turn the ball over. Can't give up big plays. We've got to have some balanced offense so that our defense doesn't have to play the whole ball game and stay out there that whole time. I think all those types of things that are going to be important. Silly penalties. We've done a little bit better job in recent games, but last week was unbelievable with like 28 penalties. So we can't help them that way as well. But just stay together, not go ahead and panic if we give up a play or something like that. And we've got to go ahead and make sure that we have some poise. And I think that while we don't have a lot of seniors, that we've got some leaders that aren't seniors as well. Our kids are going to stay together, and we'll go ahead and be able to play through some tough times if they come up.
Final thought from you here. They do have 2 losses on the season. Both were to teams ranked number 5 in the nation at the time that they played them. When they have lost, what happened in those games?
Well, they gave up some points. Obviously, in one of them, they gave up just a pile of points, I think, to Ashland and Ferris State both. But I think the biggest thing and why we believe that they're playing their best football right now is both of those teams, they played again in the playoffs, and they beat both of those teams. So whether it's a revenge factor or whatever, they were able to go ahead and find some answers and be able to go ahead and get in the win column, and that's how they've advanced. So they're playing very good football right now, and I think one of those was like the second game of the season or third, and you get to see all their film, but I think they're a different football team than when those games took place.